You are not politically homeless. You are spiritually homesick. There is a strange little phrase I keep hearing from Jews lately. I feel politically homeless. I get it. I really do. A lot of Jews woke up after October 7 and discovered that the political house they had been living in had no mezuzah on the door. The people who had endless language for every form of oppression suddenly needed a thesaurus, a committee meeting, and 3 months of context before saying that burning Jewish families alive was bad. That leaves a mark. So, yes, I understand the disorientation. I understand the betrayal. I understand looking around and thinking, where do I belong now? But here is the uncomfortable part. Some Jews are not politically homeless. Some, they are Jewishly displaced. They did not lose a political home. They replaced Judaism with one. Their party became their synagogue. Their ideology became their Torah. Their activists became their rabbis. Their slogans became their prayers. Their yard signs became their mezuzahs. And when that ideology turned on Jews, they felt orphaned. But Judaism did not abandon them. They wandered away from it. This is not a left or right problem. Plenty of Jews have done this on both sides. Some swapped Torah for progressive dogma. Others swapped it for nationalism, punditry, party loyalty, or whatever cable news rabbi happened to be shouting that night. Same disease, different merch. Judaism is not your political platform. Jewish values are not whatever your preferred movement says this week, sprinkled with a little tikkun olam for flavor like parsley on a disappointing steak. Tikkun olam does not mean my politics, but in Hebrew. Justice does not mean abandoning your own people to impress strangers. Compassion does not mean excusing Jew hatred because the person doing it uses academic vocabulary. Peace does not mean asking Jews to become defenseless so the world can feel morally sophisticated. And prophetic Judaism does not mean every activist with a ring light is Isaiah. Oh, if only. Judaism has values, yes, deep ones, demanding ones, but they are not partisan accessories. They come from Torah, memory, covenant, law, peoplehood, exile, return, responsibility, and survival. They were not invented in a faculty lounge. They were not focus grouped by political consultants. They were carried through Egypt and Babylon, Rome and Spain, Auschwitz and Jerusalem, Sderot and Be'eri. Jewish values are not vibes. They are inheritance. An inheritance requires humility. That means sometimes Judaism will challenge your politics. Good, it should. If your Judaism never contradicts your political tribe, you are not practicing Judaism. You are laundering ideology through a Star of David. Real Judaism does not ask, will this make me acceptable to my side? It asks, is this true? Is this just? Does this protect life? Does this honor our people? Does this remember what history already taught us at a very high tuition rate? And history has been a brutal teacher. No scholarships, no extensions, no extra credit. The great Jewish mistake of the modern age is believing acceptance is a substitute for identity. We thought if we marched enough, donated enough, voted correctly enough, spoke the fashionable language fluently enough, maybe they would finally see us as the good Jews, the useful Jews, the enlightened Jews, the Jews who know better than the other Jews. That is not liberation. That is exile with applause. A Jew who needs permission from a political movement to defend Jewish life is not morally evolved. He is trapped. A Jew who can say every people deserves self determination except the Jewish people is not universalist. He is confused. A Jew who calls Hamas resistance but calls Zionism supremacy has not discovered Jewish ethics. He has swallowed propaganda and asked for seconds. And a Jew who says, my Jewish values require me to oppose the Jewish state should at least have the honesty to admit those values did not come from Sinai. They came from somewhere else. Now say this clearly because it matters. Valid criticism of Israel is not anti Semitism. Governments can be criticized, policies can be debated, leaders can be challenged. Jews have been arguing with Jewish leadership since Moses came down the mountain and found everyone partying around a golden calf like it was Coachella, Desert Edition. Argument is Jewish. Demonization is not. Double standards are not. Erasure is not. Calling for the end of Jewish sovereignty while pretending it is social justice is not. That is anti Zionism. And anti Zionism is not a Jewish value. It is the denial of Jewish peoplehood dressed up as virtue. So, no, you are not politically orphaned because a party disappointed you. You are being invited back to something older, deeper, and stronger than politics. You are being invited back to Judaism. Not necessarily religious observance, though maybe that too. Not necessarily synagogue every week, though it would not kill you. Not necessarily keeping kosher, though your grandmother would be thrilled and still find something to complain about. But back to Jewish rootedness, back to memory, back to peoplehood, back to moral clarity, back to the understanding that being Jewish is not a seasonal identity you pull out for bagels, funerals, and explaining jokes to non Jews. Being Jewish is a covenant with the past and a responsibility to the future. Politics can be useful. Vote, advocate, organize, argue, make your case, be involved, but do not worship it. Political movements are temporary. They rise, rot, rebrand, and ask for donations. Judaism is eternal. When your politics betray your people, do not choose the politics and call it courage. Choose your people. Call it what it is: coming home. If you enjoy my writing, support me by buying my book, Screaming into the Void, available on paperback or Kindle on Amazon.com.